Video. In this video, we'll show you how to update contact/lead if found, or create lead if neither found in Salesforce. So this is like a very typical use case, and it can catch people off guard and they don't know how to maneuver everything. So I'm going to show you just that, how to do it. What you want to do is we want to start off with just first name, last name, something like email, and then we will use the submit button, but the submit button will become a Salesforce action. Right, so two things I want to do. I want to get two hidden fields here. One is going to capture lead ID, and the other one is going to capture contact ID. Like that. And then what you want to do is you want to run a get. So get, the first get is going to be add object. Let's say I want to get lead, okay? And then I can say condition email equals email. And then if found, go ahead and bring me their lead ID. Now, once this is done and it's good to go, what you want to do is, so let's say this runs first. Let's say runs first. Now, if nothing is found in lead, what I want it to do is actually go and run and check for a contact on the same email. So what you can do is you can choose contact, and I'll say runs second, and then you want to check this as custom button and then do this. Same thing, email equals email, like that. And then you want to map your field and say contact ID, return me my contact ID. Now the best part is that once you've set this to custom action, you can see it's pink. You can go back in your first action and say, if not found, run my contact, run second. So what this means, it's going to look for a lead first. If not, then it's going to look for a contact. Super simple. So let me play this out for you. If we preview this, all right, so let me just enable hidden fields so you can see it. Let's give it a refresh. Okay, so two hidden fields, lead ID, contact ID. Back in my Salesforce, I've got Jane Blogs as the lead, but she doesn't exist as a contact, only lead. So what we're going to do, we're just going to pop her email in there, just tab out, and you can see we've found the lead ID. Okay. However, if I go back to one of my contacts, let's say, here called Titan Demo, and I take Titan Demo's email, we know Titan Demo doesn't exist as a lead, so what's going to happen is it's going to first search for a lead. If not found, it's going to return contact ID, like that, okay? So there it is. It's going to return the contact ID, but no lead. So let's just refresh this form quickly, and let's try again. Let me show you. So both are empty. It's going to pop it in here. It's going to run. If not found, it's going to return the lead ID. Super simple. And now, basically, based on both of this, you can run multiple actions. So let's say I wanted to update. Actually, do you know what? I want to say three actions. My first one is going to be update lead. So let's do update lead. All right, so I'm going to choose lead here. My action is going to be update, and I'm going to set my condition. Lead ID equals my lead ID. All right, and now this is the important part. You want to put a rule condition in here. You want to say only run when lead ID is not empty. All right, otherwise this action will not run at all. And then I want you to go ahead and, you know, they can modify their last name, they can modify their first name, they can even modify their email. Something super simple. Apply, and then apply. Now this is good. Now actually, if the lead is not found, I actually want them to update the contact. So now this one here, we will turn this to contact, like this. And then you want to set your update here to be contact ID equals contact ID. And then in the rule condition, you would do the same thing. Only run the action when contact ID is not empty. All right, and then the mapping remains the same. So let's just check the mapping. It's not there. We'll go ahead and map it. Last name to last name, first name to first name, and then email to email. Apply and finish. All right, so that's my action number 2. Now my third action here is going to be create lead if neither contact ID or lead ID are not populated. So we'll say create lead if lead or contact ID not found. And then check this. And then what you want to do is you want to set a rule condition. You want to say lead ID must be empty and contact ID is empty. Click apply, map your fields, go last name here, first name here, and then email here. Apply and finish. And then I just want to go ahead and assign my actions. Now it doesn't matter the order that you put them in, because remember each one has a rule condition. So they're only going to run if a criteria matches, otherwise it's not going to run at all. So click apply, click save, and now let's test this. So let's take this one here. I'm going to refresh. And then let's say I will put the Gmail in. You can see the contact ID is there, all right? And then this is the contact Titan demo. So let's modify this. So I'm going to call it Titan demo updated. And then I will just submit. All right, so it's done. So now if I go back into my integration logs, let's see which actions actually ran. So let's go back here. You can see there's only one action that's run, which is the update contact. So if I go back in here now, and we wait for this contact to load, you can see that there is an update. Okay, now let's even take lead for an example. So let's take, we'll take Jane Blogs here. We'll copy her email, refresh the form, put the email in there, tab out. You can see lead ID has been captured. So now I can do the same thing here. I can do Jane updated and then click submit. Let's go back to our integration log, and you can see it's only updated that lead. So if we just quickly go into Jane's record now, you will see that there it is, Jane updated. All right, and that's really that simple. So you can see our actions are running based off our rule conditions. Now our final test is that create if neither exists. So let's refresh. Let's do Tom Blogs Titan.com. Now this won't exist anywhere, so you can see lead ID is empty, contact ID is empty, and if I click submit, it's only going to run one action. And then if I go back to the integration log, okay, so we've got an error because it requires a company field. So what I'll do is company. Okay, cool. So I guess I can just give it a static name here. It failed because company is also a mandatory field. Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll say other, and we'll say Titan, and then status, we'll just say open not contacted. Apply and finish. All right, so let's rerun that scenario again. Let's go back in here. Let's refresh our page. Tom Blogs Tom@titan.com. Tab out, no lead ID, no contact ID, click submit, go back to our integration log, and you can see our lead is created. So if we go back in here, it's created the lead. It's created the lead and hasn't touched anything else. So just goes to show that when you go ahead and run your push, it's really important that you set your rule conditions. And with rule conditions, you can manipulate which actions need to execute, and then they will execute when the criteria is met. So this is how you do how to update contact/lead if found, or create lead if neither found in Salesforce.